What's up, Taiwan? I'm Louise with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. There are new threats coming from China, according to national security officials here in Taiwan. They're presenting a new report to lawmakers on China's hybrid warfare campaign. They're saying China is doing more to infiltrate Taiwanese society. Let's take a listen.
加大对我青年基层统战，锁定邀我青年参访红色景点，透过各类文化参访，促区认同文化一中。
Leslie Liao has been following this story for us and is in our Taipei newsroom. Leslie, what's in this report?
Louise, what we just heard from that national security official is one of 5 points that this report touches upon. China is targeting Taiwan's young people through cultural means and sponsored trips, trying to cultivate a sense of unity between the two countries. This is a new form of societal infiltration, and it's evident in the rising number of spy cases connected to China in Taiwan over the past 5 years. The report also touches upon China's usual tactics of coercing Taiwan militarily and silencing it internationally, which are all run-of-the-mill for China. You know, China sends fighter jets close to Taiwan on a near-daily basis. It conducts large-scale military drills in its waters, and it blocks Taiwan's participation in international events, like most recently at the World Health Assembly. Now, the third point in this report touches upon cognitive campaigns. China is trying to spread information that might sow distrust and fear in Taiwan by spreading information that might make it hard for people to sleep at night. Things like Taiwan and China are on the brink of war, or that the U.S. commitment to Taiwan is wavering. And the fifth and final point in this report talks about cybersecurity. China is increasingly using DDoS attacks and AI to weaponize the internet, and the Bureau says that Taiwan's manufacturing, tech, and health sectors are coming under the risk of Beijing-sanctioned ransomware attacks. So with these five new points in this report, national security officials are increasingly referring to China's hybrid tactics to pressure Taiwan.
So, Leslie, how is Taiwan responding to these increased threats from China?
So China sees Taiwan as part of its territory and has not ruled out taking the country by force. Over the past few years, it's been increasing its aggression and finding new ways to advance its united front agenda. So this is nothing particularly new. But this report comes at a time when President Lai Ching-te is thinking about how to counter China's influence in Taiwanese society. He wants to bring back military courts. He wants to limit exchanges between Taiwan and China. And he also wants to monitor Taiwanese officials traveling to China. And this all comes alongside President Lai calling Beijing a hostile foreign force. But with this new insight into how China is targeting Taiwan's young people, the pressure is going to be on the government to think about ways to countering it.
Thank you, Leslie. I'm sure we'll be hearing more on this. That was Leslie Liao in our Taipei newsroom. Lawmakers are sounding the alarm after Chinese components were found in a Taiwanese military drone. The defense minister says sensitive parts will no longer be sourced from China. But as Jong reports, it's not the first time Chinese tech has turned up where it shouldn't.
The Albatross 2 drone is supposed to be a work of domestic Taiwanese engineering, but ahead of its mass production, there's a snag. It turns out some of its parts are made in China. China claims Taiwan, and it's Chinese forces these drones are built to repel. Yet inspectors only caught the Chinese parts at the last minute, when the military took delivery of early units. Now, concerned lawmakers are pressing the drone's maker over the potential security risks.
会不会以后无人机飞上去，不管侦测到什么、看到什么，其实资料还没有回传台湾，都已经回传到对岸了呢？
这两型无人机都还没有量产，是在试研制的阶段。然后我们在试研制阶段，这个东西是从国外进口的。那进口以后，我们在进口检验的时候，发现里面的确有它的 SD 卡是中国制的，那我们就要求原厂要能更换。
The defense minister, too, faced questions. When he pledged tighter controls once the drones go into mass production, lawmakers pressed for specifics.
哪一些是要飞后？就是这一个的标准是不是 一致。我们分成5类，我比如说举个例子，你分成桌子，这个绝对不需要说费录制嘛。那有一些，我想比较大家很清楚，就是具有传输功能的，那我们当然就确定一定是不能够用。
How reassured lawmakers may be is hard to gauge. The issue of Chinese-made equipment in sensitive places is not a new one for Taiwan. Last year, Taiwan People's Party lawmaker Huang Guochang broke the news that army bases were using Chinese devices. An audit found Chinese-made network routers, data readers, and power inverters. Rocket fuel powder and some electrical components in Taiwan-made missiles have also been traced to China in the past. But with China the world's largest exporter, getting the parts Taiwan needs without the risk Chinese parts could bring won't be easy. Eason Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
US officials are scrutinizing the use of Chinese tech on the power grid. That's after undocumented communication devices were found inside China-made solar power equipment. Officials say China could use these hidden devices to sabotage critical Western energy infrastructure. A new bill in the US Congress aims to curb reliance on Chinese-made energy tech. If passed, it would block the US's domestic security agency from buying batteries from 6 Chinese firms seen as national security risks. China dominates global production of renewable energy technology. Chinese military activity around Taiwan has been going on all week. The Defense Ministry says it spotted 29 Chinese military aircraft and 9 naval vessels operating near Taiwan in a 24-hour period up to Thursday morning. 18 of those aircraft entered Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, which is not Taiwan's airspace but acts as a buffer zone for defensive purposes. The military says it also spotted 2 official ships operating near Taiwan. The incursion comes as Taiwan's military holds annual exercises in the country's south. Several Taiwanese celebrities are being investigated for evading conscription. It comes after actor Darren Wong was arrested for dodging military service earlier this year. At least 8 entertainers are under investigation for forging medical records to get out of serving. 2 of them have been released on bail. In 2022, conscription for Taiwanese men was extended from 4 months to 1 year amid rising tensions with China. While many younger citizens would rather not do it, polls show that most Taiwanese see conscription as necessary for national defense. Former Vice President Chen Jianren is heading to the Vatican on Sunday, where he'll represent Taiwan at the coronation ceremony for Pope Leo. Chen served as Vice President during Tsai Ing-wen's first term. He attended the funeral of Pope Francis, who died in April. The Vatican is Taiwan's only remaining diplomatic ally in Europe. Taiwan's foreign ministry says Chen will relay Taipei's hope of furthering ties with the Holy See. Former Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen has wrapped up her visit to Denmark. During her stay, Tsai visited the Danish Parliament, met with the Parliamentary Taiwan Friendship Group, and delivered a speech at the Copenhagen Democracy Summit, where she emphasized the need for Taiwan's security. She also visited Lithuania, and now she'll wrap up her European tour with a visit to the United Kingdom. US President Donald Trump has received another lavish welcome on the second stop of his Middle East tour in Qatar. There, the leader secured economic deals and renewed calls for a resolution to Iran's nuclear program. Rosie Greninger reports.
The red carpet is rolled out for Donald Trump in Qatar, the second leg of the US president's Middle East tour, focused on drumming up investments. And after a meeting with the country's emir, the two announced business deals between the United States and Qatar, totaling more than $243 billion US. Among them, the purchase of hundreds of Boeing jets.
Kelly's telling me from Boeing that's the largest order of jets in the history of Boeing. That's pretty good. It's actually 200, including the 40, so it's over $200 billion. But 160 in terms of the jets, that's fantastic. So that's a record, Kelly. And congratulations to Boeing. Get those planes out there.
Set to be produced over the next 7 years, the White House said the deal would support over 150 jobs in the US each year. While the agreement between the two countries, including a mutual defense deal for advanced drone technology, will reportedly generate more than $1 trillion in extra business for the two nations. It comes as Trump faces backlash for accepting a $400 million jet from Qatar, described as a flying palace, to be used as Air Force One. Qatar's Prime Minister pushed back on the criticism, saying the jet is a routine government-to-government transaction, not a personal gift.
First of all, we bought this airplane from an American company. It's basically part of a cooperation that we've been doing a lot together between Qatar and the United States.
Trump has brushed off any questions about the jet, focusing instead on Iran. During a state dinner, Trump repeated his calls for a peaceful resolution to Iran's nuclear program, appealing to Qatar to help with the situation. Washington has held 4 negotiations to reach a deal over the project. Further talks are planned, but the US president said for a deal to be made, Iran must end its support for proxy groups.
You're also working with us very closely with respect to negotiating a deal with Iran, which is the far friendlier course that you would see. I mean, we have 2 courses. There's only 2 courses. There aren't 3 or 4 or 5. There's 2. There's a friendly and a non-friendly, and the non-friendly is a violent course, and I don't want that. I'll say it up front, I don't want that, but they have to get moving.
Trump is pushing for agreement despite abandoning the Iran nuclear deal in 2018 during his first term in office. Responding to Trump, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said his country would not bow to any bully.
خیال کرده الان اومده اونجا شعار بده ما خواهیم ترسید و در مقابل وعده‌هاش کوتاه خواهیم اومد. ما عزت و سربلندی این مملکت رو با هیچ کی معامله نخواهیم کرد.
With that deal seemingly shut down, Trump is now turning his attention back to his Middle East tour. He will next meet with US troops at Qatar's Al Udeid air base before jetting to his final destination, the UAE, where he will continue looking to make deals that he promised the American people. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump are set to skip upcoming peace negotiations between Moscow and Kyiv in Turkey. They could be the first direct peace talks in 3 years between Russia and Ukraine. Putin himself proposed the negotiations. Both Moscow and Washington plan to send high-level delegations. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier said he would only attend if Putin were present. But according to a Ukrainian official, Zelensky is already on his way to Turkey for the talks Thursday. He's voiced doubt that a breakthrough could come without Putin's attendance. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has called for the completion of war preparations, according to state media. Kim reportedly said doing so was the most vital task. State media also showed footage of him observing military drills and training. Just last week, the North Korean leader said he would not hesitate to use military force if the United States continued to provoke Russia. Pyongyang has sent troops and weapons to Russia to fight against Ukraine. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this exhibition in Rome featuring handcrafted pieces by Italian fashion duo Dolce & Gabbana. I'm Louise Watt. Take care. I'll see you next time.